I got them. That's it? Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it. Assalamu alaikum. Alright, if we could have to rearrange a little bit, can we have the sisters on the left and the brothers on the right? So at least they can sit towards the front and see more. So we have the brothers come to my right, and all the sisters can come to the left. Tell someone to give me the essence for listening from my desk. Alright, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. All thanks and praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and may His peace and blessings be upon His last and final messenger, His family, His companions, and those who follow them until the end of times. So alhamdulillah, it's a great blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given all of you the opportunity to undertake this wonderful and amazing journey. So all of us should have the sense of gratitude, the sense of appreciation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the unique opportunity to visit the most beloved and the most blessed place on the face of this earth. So over here in SoCal we have the happiest place on earth, which is Disneyland. But alhamdulillah, we're being blessed to go to the most blessed place on the face of this earth, which is Mecca, to visit the Kaaba, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and inshallah to visit the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the blessed city of Medina. So we all thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this amazing blessing, this amazing opportunity. How many of you have gone for Umrah before? Alright, a few. First timers? Majority. Good thing. Alright, so you're in for a wonderful trip inshallah. Alright, wonderful experience. I'm sure everyone will enjoy it. And for those of you repeating it, another wonderful trip inshallah. Alright, so Umrah is an act of worship that carries a lot of reward to it as well. It's a sunnah, it was a practice of the Prophet ﷺ, but it's a practice that carries a lot of virtue, a lot of reward to it. So I'm just going to share two virtues or two rewards that the Prophet ﷺ told us about specifically. So first, the Prophet ﷺ told us, Al-umratu ila al-umrah kafaratun lima baynahuma. That one umrah to the next is an expiation for whatever comes in between them. Meaning that if you go to perform umrah, through the blessing of this journey, through the blessing of this act of worship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will erase all of our previous sins. So all of us, of course, as human beings, we're weak, we have mistakes, we make mistakes, we have shortcomings. All of us disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at some time. So by going through this journey and taking this act of worship, inshallah those sins will be forgiven. And another very unique blessing is that the Prophet ﷺ told us, Al-Hujjaju wal-Umar wafdullah. That those people performing Hajj and those individuals performing Umrah, they're the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's something that's very unique, that's an honor in and of itself. Other versions they call it Duyufur Rahman. We're going to be the guests of the absolute most merciful being. So that in and of itself is a sense of honor. In da'uhu ajabahum. And they're honored in such a way that if they ask Allah, He will respond to them. Meaning every single dua, every single supplication we make on this journey, on this trip, is an opportunity for us, for our prayers to get answered. That if we call upon Allah, He will answer it. وَإِنِ اسْتَغْفَرُوهُ غَفَرَ لَهُمْ. And if we seek His forgiveness, He will forgive us. So being the guests of Allah, being hosted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a unique honor, it's a unique distinction. And by doing so, He's going to be accepting our prayers, and He will be accepting our seeking of His forgiveness. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, to make this trip beneficial for us, to make a blessing for us, and to honor us with being the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the reason why we're all here is because preparation is really important. Preparing for anything that we do in life is a very important step. So oftentimes before we make big decisions, before we do anything important, we like to prepare ourselves. And this is also prophetic advice from the Prophet ﷺ. He told us, "La aqla kat-tadbir." There's nothing like planning, or there's no intelligence like planning. Meaning part of intelligence, part of being smart, is planning ahead and preparing what we're going to be doing. So Umrah, it's something that it requires us to prepare a little bit, just to know at least the process and the rules and regulations of what we're going to be doing. So when we're intending to perform this journey, we should plan in advance, and we should prepare for it spiritually, mentally, and physically. So there's three aspects to our preparation. There's a spiritual aspect, there's the mental aspect, and then there's a physical aspect. So in terms of spiritual preparation, the intention is extremely, extremely important. Right? Every single act of worship that we do, it should be done solely to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So any act of worship, any act of kindness, any act of goodness that we do as Muslims, it's always supposed to have that sincere, that pure intention. As the Prophet ﷺ told us, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Right? The actions are by their intentions. وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. And every person gets whatever they intend. So our intention for going on this trip should be to earn and seek the pleasure, the mercy, the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to follow in the footsteps of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Part of spiritual preparation is repentance. It's tawbah. It's seeking forgiveness and purifying ourselves even before we go on this journey. So just turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in repentance and forgiveness. And part of the spiritual preparation is rectifying our relationships with people. Right? We should, before we leave, if we have some differences with individuals, maybe we're not speaking to an uncle, maybe we're not speaking to a nephew, something. Right? If we have some issues, we could call them up, make amends, apologize, tell them you're going for Umrah, that you're going to be praying for them, and you want them to pray for you and your safety as well. Just do something to make up to your friends and relatives, which is an important aspect as well. Because our religion, it's not just ritual acts of worship, but a huge part of our religion is the relationships that we have with each other as well. Especially our family relationships, our parents, our siblings, our children, our relatives, aunts and uncles. We should try to make amends before we leave. Studying, right? Studying and knowing what we're going to be doing when we get there. And finally, making a dua list. So when we're there, we're going to have all the time in the world. Right? When we're there, we don't have to worry about work. We don't have to worry about any responsibilities. All we're there for is what? Worship. The only thing we have to do there is worship. But one of the issues that we face is that we're not trained to be like that. Where we can worship for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then what's going to happen? Get bored. Right? We can make dua for maybe half an hour, and then for 1 hour I'm going to be on Facebook. Right? That's just our habit. We're not used to it. So try to get yourself prepared, get yourself in the zone that we're going there for worship. We're not going there for vacation, we're not going there for shopping, even though you might shop there, it's okay. But we're not going there to shop or have a nice vacation. We're going there for worship. So make a dua list. Start making lists of du'as that you want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. Right? What things do you want in this life, and what things do you want in the hereafter? Not only for yourself, but for your family, for your parents, for your children, for your siblings, for your neighbors, for your co-workers, whoever it may be. Start making dua lists, right? For yourself first and foremost, and then for others. And they say if you run out of people to make dua for me, inshallah. I will accept all your prayers, meaning on my behalf. Secondly, if you run out of prayers, they say go through your phone book. you forget people, just go through your phone book and start making dua for them. So just remember, you're there for worship, you're not there for any other purpose or any other goal. Alright, mental preparation is patience. You're going to be going to a foreign country. And in a foreign country, things don't work like they do here in America. Right? In America, things work in a certain way. We're used to a certain system of things that people follow the rules, people follow the law. You're going to be going to a foreign country where things don't necessarily work the same way. Right? Over here, if you stand in line, mashallah, the line at least moves. Over there, you stand in line and the line just keeps getting longer. That's just part of the problem you're going to have to deal with. So when you arrive at the airport in Jeddah, just be prepared for that. Right? The customs lines there, sometimes they move fast and sometimes they don't move at all. And sometimes you're at line and you're almost at the customs officer and he takes a tea break. Right? This happens. So a process that should take maybe half an hour to an hour could take up to 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Just be ready for that, right? Don't lose your patience. Just remember always to be patient, right? They say that the word or the attitude, the perspective that you should adopt whenever you go to a foreign country, they call it the attitude of Alhamdulillah. That anything that happens, you just say Alhamdulillah. If something good happens, Alhamdulillah. If something bad happens, Alhamdulillah. It's just okay. Just go with the flow, right? Go with the flow. All right. The physical preparation has to do with packing. And I'm sure that's a question that a lot of us have is what should we take with us, right? What things should we take with us? So first and foremost, pack light. You don't want to pack heavy. You don't want to travel heavy. You don't want to travel with unnecessary things. If you forget to take something from here, you can literally find anything you want there as well. Stores are more than enough. There's everything you can think of, you can find it there. Whether it's medicine, whether it's snacks, whether it's like personal needs and necessities, they have grocery stores, pharmacies. I mean, in the hotel that you're staying at, the bottom floor, there's this store called Bin Dawood. Right? Bin Dawood is the Walmart of the Arabian world. You can find anything and everything in that store, literally. Whatever you need, you can find it there. There's pharmacies, pharmacies here, you got to go to a clinic to get to a pharmacy, or CVS or Walgreens. In Saudi Arabia, for some reason, every block has a pharmacy. Why? I don't know, but every block has a pharmacy. So in terms of medicine and things like that, don't be too concerned. You're going to be going for about a week. So take enough clothes, take enough pairs of clothes. Take at least 5 to 6 pairs of clothes. If you run out of clothes, you can buy clothes, or there's laundry services available. Don't worry about that as well. So just make sure you have enough clothes. For the men, it's recommended to get 2 sets of ihram, right? To get 2 sets of those white cloths. So all of you will be receiving one right now, and when you get there, you might want to buy another one. And they're readily available, again, on the streets and the markets. They're right there. It's not difficult to find it. They're not that expensive. But just to be on the safe side, you should keep 2 pairs of ihram. For the men, also get a very comfortable pair of slippers, right? You're going to be walking, and over here, especially in SoCal, we're not used to walking as well. We drive everywhere we go. So try to find a very comfortable pair of slippers. Have a shoe bag. I believe, are they going to get the shoe bag from us?
I think the
Adam Travel one? If I remember, yeah. If I remember, you'll get, like those shoe bags. It's helpful because they might have like spaces to put your shoes in the haram, but those are like a free for all. So meaning if you put your slippers there, it's free for someone else to take it. So you want to keep your slippers with you at all times. So it's nice to have a slipper bag, right? Just to keep your slippers or your shoes with you. Medication, make sure you take your medication with you. If you're on some type of prescription, drugs, you should take those prescription drugs with you. Take the common stuff like Tylenol, take your Imodium, take your Pepto. You're going to a foreign country, your stomach might not be used to the food there, so it's important to take your Pepto, your Imodium. And again, if you forget it, you can find it there. Alright, toiletries. You want to take your soap, your deodorant, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, all that fun stuff. Snack food. Again, you can find food there readily available, but in terms of like downtime, you want something to munch on, snacks, maybe take some granola bars, right? Take some trail mix, something that you can eat while you in between meals. And last, do the unlocked cell phone. Right? If you have a cell phone and it has a SIM card in it, you can get it unlocked if it is not already unlocked. Right? You can get it unlocked through your carrier, and then once you get there, you can purchase a SIM card. So the hotel that you're staying at, again, the floor where the lobby is, there's a carrier right there. They call it Mobily. Right? It's like their AT&T. They have a company called Mobily. You can just go in there, you can purchase a SIM card, and it's like, you can get one for 50 riyals, 100 riyals. It's not that expensive. You can get a SIM card, it'll have voice on it, and it'll also have data on it as well. So it's very cheap, it's accessible, you'll always have access to a cell phone. I recommend everyone take a cell phone that's unlocked with you. Just in case you get lost, in case you need to contact someone, you should always have a cell phone. Alright, any questions on what to pack? Huh? Any questions on what to pack?
Any specialty items that you recommend?
No, nothing special. You don't need to take anything special with you. And again, if you forget anything, you're going to find it there.
Now you mentioned that about the shoe bags and stuff. I think there was one of the list item in things. So if you can't provide, we can buy it on the store.
Yeah, you can buy it from the store.
And about the phone SIM also,
Mm-hmm.
they mentioned that they will be providing phone SIMs.
They'll be providing the SIM cards?
I mean,
Is it an itinerary? I'm not sure.
The one with the 5 real.
The 5 reals? the time?
If you have T-Mobile, roaming is free for data and for text messaging. So you can also use WhatsApp calling if you need to at any time to call back home. You won't need to buy a separate SIM card. And if you do make calls, it's like 20 cents a minute, which is not that bad.
It's not expensive.
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of preparing and packing, just, whatever you're comfortable with, make sure you take whatever makes you comfortable. But don't overpack. You don't want to be carrying, lugging around heavy suitcases for no reason. And I'm sure if you want to shop, you want to bring things back, so you need space.
The one thing I remember when I've been there twice, taking those folded, mats for the salah.
For prayer?
Yeah, for prayer. So it helps because they're small. When once you fold it, they become this small.
Yeah, if you want to take an extra prayer mat, it helps because a lot of times, if you're unable to get inside the haram, you're going to be praying on marble. So just for your own personal comfort, you might want to take a prayer mat with you as well. Alright, now the Umrah itself is very easy. Right? The Umrah itself, the ritual act of Umrah, it's not a very complicated process. It's pretty straightforward. So Umrah consists of 4 actions. Right? Umrah consists of 4 actions. So this is easy to remember. You should all keep it in your mind that there's only 4 things to Umrah. The first is entering into the state of Ihram. In English, they call Ihram the state of pilgrim sanctity. The state of pilgrim sanctity. So it's a ritual state that you enter into by reciting certain verses, by reciting certain words or phrases. So the first aspect of Umrah is entering into this state of pilgrim sanctity, which is called Ihram. The second is the Tawaf. Right? The Tawaf is when we circle 7 times around the Kaaba. The third is Sa'i. Sa'i is walking between Mount Safa and Mount Marwa. And the fourth is shaving or trimming your hair. So that's all Umrah is. It's simply 4 actions. So again, count down with me. Number 1 is Ihram. Right? Entering into the state of Ihram. Number 2, Tawaf. Circling around the Kaaba 7 times. Number 3, Sa'i, which is walking between Safa and Marwa. And number 4, shaving or trimming your hair. So we'll go through each of these steps one by one. Alright, so the first step is entering into the state of Ihram. Now oftentimes people think that Ihram is wearing the 2 white pieces of cloth or the 2 unstitched pieces of cloth. This is a misconception. Right? Ihram is actually a ritual state. It's a state of pilgrim sanctity. So it's referring to a ritual state that one enters when intending to perform Hajj or Umrah. And the word Ihram, it literally means to make something impermissible. Right? If you look at the linguistic meaning of the word Ihram, it comes from the Arabic verb ahrama, which means to make something impermissible. And the reason why it's called the state of Ihram is because once you enter into it, certain things that are normally permissible now become impermissible. So for example, under normal circumstances, we can put fragrance on our bodies. Right? We can use fragrance, there's nothing wrong with it. But in the state of Ihram, you're not allowed to put on fragrance. Right? Usually you can cut your nails. You're supposed to cut your nails. It's part of personal hygiene. But when you're in the state of Ihram, you're not allowed to cut your nails. Right? You're allowed to cut your hair and shave and whatever. But in the state of Ihram, it's not allowed. So it's called the state of Ihram because certain things become impermissible that were normally permissible. So this is a certain ritual state that we enter into. And the way we enter into the state of Ihram is by 2 things. By making the intention for Umrah and then immediately reciting the talbiyah. So if you say the intention for Umrah and then you recite this phrase known as the talbiyah, then you have entered into the state of Ihram. And for men, that's represented by the 2 pieces of unstitched cloth. And for women, it's their normal clothes. Whatever they wear normally, they can wear as long as it's modest, as long as their awrah is covered. But they have entered into the state by saying the intention and the talbiyah. Alright, so for all of us, we're going to be entering the state of Ihram on the plane, which adds a little bit of difficulty to it, but it's not too bad. So we're departing, or you're departing on Saturday, November 19th. Right? The flight is at 3 p.m. So make sure you're at the airport at least 3 hours before to be on the safe side. 2 hours is okay, but be on the safe side. Be there 3 hours early. You don't want to miss your flight. So the flight is a direct flight from here to Jeddah. The flight is about 14 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours. It's a long flight. Alright, it is a long direct flight. You're going to enter into the state of ihram on the plane. Now, you have to enter into the state of ihram before crossing something known as the miqat. So the miqat, there are these boundaries that were identified by the Prophet ﷺ for the people who want to come to Mecca to perform Hajj and Umrah. That before crossing these boundaries, as a sign of showing respect, as a sign of showing honor, you should be in the state of ihram before doing so. So usually the airline, especially Saudi Airlines, they announce that we're 1 hour away from the miqat, we're half an hour away from the miqat, so enter into the state of ihram. But the problem is if you wait that long, there's going to be the whole plane putting on their ihram. And it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard to find bathroom space, whatever. So I would recommend entering into the state of ihram, not as soon as possible, but maybe 2-3 hours into the flight. Or at least change into the cloth 2-3 hours into the flight. Right? And then once you get close to the miqat, just make the intention and the talbiyah, and then you'll be in the state of ihram. So for sisters, this is easy because you're in your normal clothes. For the guys, good luck. No, I'm joking. On the plane, you're going to have to tie in those 2 towels. Right? So before you go, you should kind of practice, get used to like tying them and sitting in them, getting comfortable in them. The plane itself has a bathroom in the middle. So the middle bathroom is a bit larger than normal. Right? There's more space in it. So it's easier to change into your ihram in there. In the back of the plane, the bathrooms are longer as well. So it's easier to do so. And then in the back, the last 3 rows, they take them out and there's a prayer room. So you can also go and change in there. Right? The air hostess and whatever the stewards will tell you don't, but everyone does anyways. Because again, we're in a foreign airline, so now rules don't apply. Right? There's a prayer space there, so usually people change in there. Right? I would recommend not doing so, just because you're not supposed to, and you know while you're doing it, someone might open the curtain. We don't want that to happen. So try to use the restrooms and do that. All right. So again, it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. You'll enter into these 2 plots. Now, but before doing so, it is sunnah. It is recommended to either bathe or make wudu. So obviously you can't bathe on the plane. So you're going to make wudu. But that means before boarding the plane that day, you guys should take a nice bath. You should cut your hair. You should trim your nails. Apply a lot of fragrance. You know, put your deodorant, whatever else on. Make sure you're nice and clean. Right? And then on the plane, at least make wudu before putting on the 2 garments. All right. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? I don't know the difference of opinion, it maybe, but you just mentioned about when we board the plane, we can put the fragrance and everything, and that would carry over also, right? Some of it. Or if a person decides right before going to the state of ihram, putting itar on, because that was a practice of Prophet ﷺ also, right?
That's perfectly
so
fine.
You could do that before entering the state.
Yeah, definitely. So before putting on those 2, you can put on as much itar, cologne, deodorant as you like.
Now, deodorant, this is my personal question, because some of them has alcohol. Is there any prohibition?
There's no prohibition on that. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Now, once you've put on these 2 garments, right, on the plane, then the sunnah is also to pray 2 rak'ahs. Right? The sunnah is to pray 2 rak'ahs. Now, on the plane, it's somewhat difficult because you're on a plane. But again, Saudi Airlines has that prayer space. But remember, everyone's going to be trying to use that space, so it's not too big. Maybe 5-6 people can fit in there at a time. So time yourselves appropriately where you can pray these 2 rak'ahs. And in these 2 rak'ahs, the sunnah is to recite Suratul Kafirun and Suratul Ikhlas. Right? The sunnah is to recite Suratul Kafirun and Suratul Ikhlas. So in the first unit, you're going to recite Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun. And the second, Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Now after doing those 2 rak'ahs, that's when you can choose to enter into the state of ihram. So the first thing you're going to do is make the intention. Now intention, it's an action of the heart. You don't have to necessarily verbalize it. But the intention, if you want to verbalize it, is, Oh Allah, I intend to perform Umrah, so make it easy for me and accept it from me. You can say this in English, you can say it in Urdu, you can say it in any language you want. If you're comfortable with Arabic, you can say in Arabic, which is Allahumma inni uridu al-umrah fayassirha li wa taqabbalha minni. That, oh Allah, I intend to perform Umrah, so make it easy for me and accept it from me. That's the first part. After that, you recite the talbiyah, which is to say, Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika lak. That here I am at your service, O Allah, at your service. At your service you have no partner, here I am at your service. Indeed, all praise, blessings, and the dominion itself are utterly yours. You have no partner. This is actually a very profound, a very beautiful statement of our obedience and submission to God. That we are here solely for who? For you. Right? We're here solely for your worship, solely for showing our obedience and submission to you. So everyone should learn this phrase. Right? If you don't know the talbiyah, before you go on this journey, you should learn the talbiyah. Have it memorized. Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika lak. Right, this should be memorized because we're encouraged to recite this as often as possible. So as soon as you do the intention and you recite the talbiyah, now you're in the state of ihram. Right, now you have entered into the state of ihram. So again, we're going to be doing this on the plane. Right, all of us will be doing this on the plane. Now once you've entered into the state of ihram, all of these prohibitions come into play. Right, there's a number of prohibitions for the state of ihram. Let me see if I have a slide for it so it makes it easier.
I
Now,
just have a quick question. Are you going with us or who will be going with us?
Hafiz Anas and Hafiz Faiz, inshallah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I never met you, so
Okay.
I really don't know you, so that's...
I'll introduce them afterwards.
Okay.
Well, might as well do it now. So your group leaders are Hafiz Faiz Dadaboy. Mashallah, he completed his hifz how long ago? 2001? Many years ago. Right, long time ago. He's been leading prayers in the community for that long, and he's one of the instructors, and he's our IT guy here at IOK. And then we have Hafiz Anas Amla, who is the Imam of Darul Falah Masjid in Tustin. So both of them, inshallah, will be your group leaders, along with Sheikh Tariq Muslih, who is currently finishing his last year at Medina University. So he'll be joining you as well for the Umrah and for the visit of the city of Medina as well, inshallah.
You said that last name Amla, right? Any relation to Hashim Amla?
Yes.
Habib Amla is your
Father.
Oh.
No, I was actually mentioning about the cricketer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're family.
Alright. So once you've entered into the state of ihram, all these restrictions are now going to apply. So the first is if you're married, you're not allowed to have intimate relations with your spouse. Right? Once you enter into the state of ihram, you're not allowed to have intimate relations with your spouse. The second is sin and acts of disobedience. You can't do that anyways. Right? You're not allowed to sin and disobey Allah anyways. But in the state of ihram, it becomes even worse. Alright. The third is arguing. Again, you're not supposed to argue anyways. But in the state of ihram, the sin is even worse. So basically, when you're in the state of ihram, you're supposed to be in an elevated level of consciousness. Right? You're in an elevated level of consciousness that, look, I'm in this purified, sanctified state. I'm going to perform this act of worship, so I should be on my absolute best behavior.
It's a construction zone, right? Fine.
Double fine. Alright, the fourth prohibition is not really relevant to us, but this was in the past, which is you're not allowed to hunt. Alright, while in the state of ihram, you're not allowed to hunt. Now again, this was 1400 years ago during the time of the Prophet ﷺ and afterwards, where they would, travel by foot and caravan and camels, etc., and they would have to hunt for their own food. Alhamdulillah, you don't have to hunt for your food. You have a nice 5-star buffet at the hotel. Right? So you don't have to worry about your food.
What about killing of flies or
Yeah, you can't. You should not kill any insects.
the fallen death.
Yeah. Alright, the fifth prohibition is shaving or cutting your hair. So while in the state of ihram, you're not allowed to shave, you're not allowed to cut any hair on your body. Alright, the sixth is cutting your nails. Right? When in the state of ihram, you cannot cut or trim your nails. The seventh is applying fragrance to the clothes or your body. So you can't use any type of fragrance. And this includes soap. So usually soap has what in it? fragrance. So you should avoid using or scented soaps. So it would be a good idea to either buy unscented soap, and a lot of stores sell them here as well. You can order it online. I think, what are some of these like natural, health conscious grocery stores?
Whole Foods.
Home Foods or Whole Foods,
Sprouts.
all these places, Sprouts. They'll have like unscented soap where you can purchase the unscented soap. So just take a small bar with you. It will be helpful, be useful. And again, you're not going to be in the state of ihram for a long time. It's not Hajj. You'll be in the state of ihram for like part of a day, not even a full day. So it's not that bad. It's not too long. But obviously, you're going to have to use the restroom and freshen up. So take an unscented bar of soap with you, especially when you get to the hotel as well. It's all scented soap, scented shampoo. Just be careful. So no scent on your clothes or your bodies. The 8th is for men specifically. We're not allowed to wear stitched clothing. Right? You can't wear any stitched clothing. And that's why we're wearing just 2 sheets, right? 2 unstitched pieces of cloth. And I mean, that means there's no undergarments, nothing for men. Just 2 sheets, 2 towels. For sisters, again, they can wear whatever they normally wear as long as it's modest, as long as it covers your awrah. The 9th is covering the head for men and covering the face for both men and women. So in the state of ihram, you cannot cover your hair if you're a man. So if you're normally wearing a cap, you cannot wear your cap while in the state of ihram. For women, if you cover your face in the state of ihram, you cannot cover your face. Right? You cannot cover your face. Now a question arises, people wear those masks, right, to protect themselves from germs and stuff like that. Some scholars say it's okay. Right? If you're wearing it to protect yourselves from germs or whatever else, and don't want to get sick, it's okay to wear the face mask. There's nothing wrong with it. Alright, and the 10th is also specific to men. It's covering the upper bone of the foot. And that's why in the state of ihram we recommend everyone to wear sandals, right? Flip-flops. So basically the upper part of your foot cannot be covered. Alright? These are all the prohibitions of ihram. If you happen to do one of them, you have to give either sadaqah or you have to give dam. Right? Sadaqah, you give some sort of charity. Dam means you have to sacrifice a sheep, and in some instances you might have to sacrifice a camel. But inshallah none of this will happen, so it's okay. Right? You're not going to be in the state of ihram for a long time. Alright, any questions on ihram itself? Sorry?
How long are you in the state of ihram?
For Umrah, less than a day. So on the plane, I would say for maybe 3-4 hours on the plane. After you land, maybe another 3-4 hours. 8 hours total. Around that.
So
It's not too long.
We're doing Umrah immediately as we.
Yeah, we'll get,
arrive.
inshallah. Inshallah.
Do we check in first?
Uh-huh.
or
We'll get
check
there.
in first?
Alright, any questions on entering the state of ihram first? We're okay with ihram?
Do we start the ihram from the airport or in the plane?
On the plane. On the
is
plane.
better.
Yeah, it's much better on the plane. If you started at the airport, you can,
Yeah.
but then you're going to be in the state of ihram for the whole flight. And it might be very difficult, right? 16, 17 hours on the plane in ihram, it's uncomfortable.
I'm confused because there is a space problem or something.
Yeah.
You can change the ihram.
Yeah.
and
If
sit.
you want to do it from here, it's fine.
Fine.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Gel. Yeah. So it will be on us while we enter the state of ihram. Should we just clean it? Wash
Yeah,
it, or-
don't put any gel on that day. Alright.
Oh, we're goofy.
Alright, any other questions on ihram? So for sisters, it's easy. Alright, for the sisters, it's easier. Just their normal clothes. All you're going to do is intention and talbiyah, and you're in the state of ihram. For guys, the 2 pieces of cloth, intention, talbiyah, you're in the state of ihram. And you should enter the state, again, as I said, I recommend, when they announce on the PA system that you're about to cross the miqat, I would recommend doing it around that time. Change before that, but make the intention and talbiyah somewhere close to that time. Alright, and then
How long is before the miqat? I mean, when
the
they
flight, so the flight,
How many hours into the
flight, I would say about 14 hours into the flight.
Okay.
So the miqat is like 1 hour until arrival, about 1 hour.
Or we do it better, earlier.
Yeah.
Than
Yeah. And inshallah, your group leaders will come around the plane and remind you as well.
Okay.
They'll remind you that, hey, we're almost at the miqat. If you haven't done so yet, enter into the state of ihram.
Great.
So they'll take that responsibility.
Sorry, this is the procedure for the one Umrah, and if we want to do another one, so
Yeah.
we have to go for the Miqat.
We'll get to that.
Aisha.
We'll get to that. Let's finish the first one first,
okay.
then we'll do the second one.
Oh, right. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Good question though. Very good
We're
question.
gonna cover the cutting, hair
Yeah.
cutting afterwards.
Yeah. All right. So that's ihram. Now we're going to arrive in Mecca. It says, or in Jeddah, at 5:25 p.m. on Sunday. So 5:25 p.m. Sunday, we're going to arrive. And again, expect at least, I would say, anywhere from 1 to 4 hours at the airport. I know that's a large window, but just expect it. Be ready for it. Sometimes it could be an hour and you're out, you're on the bus and you're on your way. Sometimes it's going to be 4 hours and you get frustrated, but then you'll be on your way. So whatever it is, just, the situation's fluid. Just remember that the situation's always fluid.
Now, meantime, if we need to use the restroom,
It's all there in the airport.
okay.
Yeah.
I
It's all there.
we have to do wudu again.
Yeah, it's there in the airport.
It's not recommended doing that bathrooms at
Yeah.
the airport.
Are not the
So, I
nicest.
mean,
Yeah.
At any rate, try to avoid it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to be going from Jeddah to Mecca by bus, and the bus drive, it usually takes anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. That's under normal circumstances, 1 to 2 hours. So we're going to get on the bus. We're going to head towards the hotel. You're staying at the Hilton Suites in Mecca. It's a very nice hotel. You'll get there. We'll check in. Right. You'll get your keys to your room. You're going to go check in, put your luggage away, put your stuff away. Wash up, freshen up, relax. If it's dinner time, eat dinner. And then after all that, then at night as a group you'll go and do Umrah.
Now, is that the group check-in or is it?
Everyone will get their keys. So however the rooms are organized.
What I mean to say is we have to individually.
No, you don't have to individually. The group leaders they'll check you guys in. They'll check you guys in as a group, and then they'll give you the room keys, inshallah. All right. So again, once you get there, obviously after a 16-hour flight, you're going to be tired and hungry. All right. So we're going to get to the hotel. You'll check in. You can rest. I would say maybe 2-3 hours after, you'll meet back up in the lobby again, and then you'll head out for the tawaf. So just some advice. They say when entering Mecca, right, when entering the city of Mecca, we should enter with respect and humility while reciting the talbiyah. Again, you're entering the most blessed place on the face of this earth.
So still we are in ihram.
You're still in ihram. Right? So enter with respect, humility, and continue reciting the talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. So check in the hotel, get settled in, and then try going to the masjid as soon as possible. Right? Try going to the masjid as soon as possible. So you'll meet up as a group in the hotel lobby, and then you'll head out together. Now the hotel is literally right across the street from the haram. Or you exit the building, you cross one road, and you're on the courtyard of the haram. Right? It's like right there. So once you get there, you're going to go to one of the gates, enter through the gate. They say when you enter the masjid, you enter with your right foot, and you recite the dua. The Allahumma ftahli abwaba rahmatik. The Oh Allah, open the doors of mercy for me. Oh Allah, open the doors of mercy for me. And as you're entering, you should continue reciting the tahleel, the takbir, the talbiyah. Keep doing dhikr, keep doing dua. And they say go to a place where you can see the Kaaba and make dua there. Because they say the first time you see the Kaaba, the first time your eyes set sight on the Kaaba, is a time when your du'as, your prayers will be accepted. And for those of you who have never done this before, this is one of the most amazing feelings you'll ever feel. Right? It's like an overwhelming, a profound feeling that you feel when you first see the Kaaba. It's like a magnificent, it's a grand sight. It literally grabs your attention, you just get mesmerized by it. So they're saying at that moment is the moment when your du'as are accepted. So as a group, you'll walk into the masjid, you'll go together, you'll pick a spot where you can see the Kaaba, and then stay there for a while and do dua. And there's an interesting story about Imam Abu Hanifa, that when he first saw the Kaaba, the dua he made is, Oh Allah, whatever dua I make after this, please accept it from me.
That's the shortest, most complete dua, right?
That whatever dua I make after this, accept it from me. Alright, so once you get there, make that dua. Alright, now we've entered the masjid, and what I have to do? Tawaf. So we're going to walk towards the Kaaba. So there's all these signs. The masjid's huge, right? The mosque, the haram itself, it's huge. So you're going to enter, there's going to be signs that say mataf. Mataf means the place of doing tawaf. So you're going to walk, follow the signs, and you're going to head towards the corner of the Kaaba with the black stone. Alright, the black stone in Arabic is called al-hajarul aswad. So you're going to keep reciting the talbiyah until you reach al-hajarul aswad, until you reach the black stone. Now as soon as you reach the black stone, you're done with talbiyah. You're not going to recite the talbiyah anymore. And for the men, when they reach the black stone, you're going to uncover your right shoulder. You're going to uncover your right shoulder. So far both your shoulders were covered with that piece of cloth. When you get to the black stone, you uncover it and you make sure your right shoulder is exposed. Alright, and you go towards where the black stone is, the corner of the black stone, and you do something known as istilam. Alright, istilam is you raise your hands like you do in prayer. And you say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. And that's all you have to say, and then you start your tawaf. So Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd.
That's
Facing the black stone. So you face towards the black stone like you do when you face the qibla for salah. You raise your hands like you do for salah. And you say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Now the actual sunnah is to go and kiss the black stone. But obviously that's going to be very, very difficult. So instead of kissing it, they say isharatan, just kiss your hands. Right? Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Kiss your hands and then you start your tawaf. Right? You start your tawaf. So the tawaf, you're going to be walking which way? Clockwise or counterclockwise? Counterclockwise. Right? Walking counterclockwise where the Kaaba is to your left hand side. So you start at the black stone and you walk around the Kaaba until you reach the black stone again. That's one circuit. That's one round. And every time you come down to the black stone, you do istinam. You raise your hand and say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Right? So how many times total are you going to do it? If you're doing 7 rounds, how many times total are you doing istinam? 8. Because one when you start and one when you end. So it's a total of 8 times, but you're going around the Kaaba 7 times. Now as you're walking around the Kaaba, there are no specific du'as. Right? There's no specific du'a. You can make any du'a you want. You can ask for anything you want. You can recite any portion of the Quran that you like. And we recommend that just make du'a in your own language. Right? People have these booklets with Arabic du'as and they try to read them and you know it's a good thing, but oftentimes they don't know what they're reading and they don't know what they're saying. And it's very impersonal that way. It's just like a ritual. When you do tawaf, you want to make it an experience. You don't want it just to be a ritual. So make dua in your own language. Make dua in English, make dua in Urdu, make dua in Arabic, whatever language you're comfortable with. And have a conversation with Allah. Right? They say build this habit of having a conversation with Allah. That you're speaking to your Lord and your Creator. You're expressing your hopes and your fears to Him. And you're asking Him for anything that you like. So as you're walking around the Kaaba, you can make any dua you want. It's also recommended to do tasbih at that time. And the tasbih is Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. That's actually masnoon. You can recite that as you're walking around as well. But again, when you're reciting it, think about the meanings. Think about the meanings. And then when you reach something known as the Yemeni corner. Right? The Yemeni corner is the corner of the Kaaba before the black stone. This is called the Yemeni corner. When you reach that, you start reciting the verse from Surah Al-Baqarah. that رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. That, oh Allah, give us good in this world, give us good in the hereafter, and protect us from the punishment of the fire. So again, that's one round. Right? That is one round. You have made one round around the Kaaba, then you come back and you do istinam again. Now on one side of the Kaaba, you're going to notice a semicircular wall. Right? A semicircular white wall. This is called the hatim. You can't make tawaf from inside of it, you have to go around it. Because the inside of that is considered to be part of the Kaaba. Alright, that's part of the Kaaba. So I guess for those of you who have never seen it before, this diagram might help somewhat. A real picture would have been better, but this does it. Alright, so the black line is where the black stone is. Alright, so the black stone is the corner right before the door of the Kaaba. So this is where we're starting tawaf. So once you get here, you're going to uncover your shoulder. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. Then you start walking around the Kaaba. So you walk around, you walk around, you walk around, do dua, dhikr, recite Quran, anything, until you reach the Yemeni corner. Ruknul Yamani. Once you reach this corner, you're going to recite رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Until you reach the black stone again, and then you say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and you do your second round. So we're doing this around the Kaaba how many times? 7 times. So once we have completed 7 rounds, your tawaf is now complete. Your tawaf is now complete. Now depending upon the rush, though, mashallah, they expanded the mataf, so it's huge now. So before the expansion, they said it could have the capacity to hold 40,000 people an hour. Right, 40,000 people an hour. After the expansion, they say it's 100,000 people per hour. So it's really big. So usually tawaf, even if the crowd is big, it'll take about half an hour. Right? If the crowd is even big, it'll still take about half an hour.
Half an hour for filling.
For 7, for all 7. Right? Usually the closer you are, the slower it moves, but it's a smaller distance. So you actually, even though it's moving slowly, you get finished faster. Right? The further out you are, you move faster, but it takes longer because it's a larger distance. Now, remember, there's going to be a lot of people. You've probably never been in a crowd like that before. So you're going to feel some bumps, you're going to feel some pushes, you're going to feel some nudges. People from different countries all over the world, they have different standards of personal space, right? So for other people, personal space is not a concept that exists. So you're going to have some guy you've never met before with his hand on your back like this. If someone does it, smile, give them a smile. Right? Don't get bothered by these things. But just be careful. You're going to get some, don't get annoyed by these things. It's normal. Just accept it. That's how it is. Alright, so after the tawaf, after we're done with the tawaf, we have to pray 2 rak'ahs. So we can, with the sunnah is to pray behind this thing known as Maqamu Ibrahim. Right, Maqam Ibrahim, this is the station of Abraham. It's like a glass enclosure that they say it has the footprints or the foot imprints of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Right, you're supposed to pray behind it, but if you pray right behind it, what are you going to be doing? Stopping tawaf. So no one prays behind it. You can pray anywhere in the masjid where you find space. So you're going to go as a group, find some place and pray 2 units of prayer. So either behind Maqam Ibrahim or anywhere else in the masjid. And the sunnah again is to recite Surah Al-Kafirun and Surah Al-Ikhlas. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Now after these, you'll make dua and then you're going to go drink some Zamzam. So there's coolers of Zamzam all over the masjid. Coolers, there's water fountains, there's water tanks of Zamzam all over the masjid. So wherever you can find some Zamzam, go take a drink. Alright, any questions on tawaf?
When we are doing tawaf, I've seen and I heard that a lot of people wear flip flops and stuff. Is it allowed? Or?
It's better not to do it.
Okay.
You shouldn't do it.
I mean, not under the state of ihram, but later, like when you're doing a tawaf, you're not in the state of ihram. I mean, I have it. I mean, we have the shoe that we only wear inside.
If it's clean, yeah. They allow. If it's clean, it's fine. But you don't want to wear like shoes that you wear outside inside the masjid.
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. Like when we went to Hajj, we heard that all the groups were wearing the pink ribbon. So
Yeah.
we had this our group.
Yeah.
So in this one, is anything?
So you're gonna have the Adam Travel badge, and that'll be your main marker. There's no bands or anything like that. Go ahead.
My question is, my kids are going with me, they're 4 and 5.
Yeah.
What do you recommend about the dog? How close I can go?
Stay more on the outskirts. You don't want to get pushed and squeezed. It's like that. It's better to stay towards the outside.
I'm expecting that we'll be doing tawaf around about midnight.
Probably.
So in November, my experience 15 years ago, that's very little crowd is going to be there.
So
Well, I don't know, that's still
15 years in the future, it's always crowded.
It is.
It's always crowded.
All right.
Yeah. But I mean, the crowd won't be that much.
Yeah.
It won't be that much. It's manageable.
Yeah.
You're not gonna feel overwhelmed by people. It's not like Hajj. Hajj is crazy. In Umrah, it's okay. It's okay.
I wanted to say one thing, especially for the first timers. When we get there, when it's time to drink Zamzam, sometimes we go overboard with it,
Yeah.
drinking a lot. And my personal experience was first time there when I was doing Sa'i. I mean, every time, I
You stop and mix up?
I will stop, drink, and come back. And believe it or not, by the time I was done and I had to go shave,
Yeah.
I was like, I need to go to the restroom.
Piss yourself.
And it's not
Yeah.
that easy going to
Yeah.
restroom in Haram and stuff, and I never used it.
Right. So the coolers for Zamzam, they have their own plastic cups, right? There's all brand new cups. But it would be nice if you take your own water bottle. You can just fill the water bottle and keep it with you. That'd be a lot easier. So if you have a nice water bottle, you can take it with you. That's perfectly fine.
So IOK will provide in front of the line pass or something?
If only. we don't have that much clout yet. Alright, so after the tawaf, after the 2 raka'ahs, after drinking Zamzam, we're going to head towards the place they call it the Mas'a. Mas'a meaning the place you do sa'i. So there's signs again directing you towards the Mas'a. So you're going to get there and you head first towards Mount Safa. Now as you're heading there, it's sunnah to recite this verse from Surah Al-Baqarah, that inna safa wal marwata min sha'airillah. Alright, it's a verse, it's sunnah to recite it. If you know it, you can. If you don't, it's okay. Alright, once you get to Mount Safa, you're supposed to turn towards the Kaaba and you do the takbir again. You say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and you stand there and you make dua. Alright, you stand there, you make dua for anything and everything that you want. And then after making dua, you start walking towards Marwa. Alright, you start walking towards Marwa.
What's the distance between?
The distance is,
Total is 1.3 miles.
it says 370 meters.
Yeah, half a kilometer.
Half a kilometer. It's long. But you know when I was young, it was fun. You like look forward to it. Mashallah, as I grow older, it's tiring. So, huh?
People who take you in a wheelchair.
Yeah, there's wheelchairs. If you need a wheelchair, there are wheelchairs available. You have to pay a little bit, but they're available. They are available. Alright, so we're going to start at Safa, and we're going to walk towards Marwa. And this is also done 7 times.
Can you go back to the slide?
This one?
So I know during construction it was closed, but from where we start, address that's where the entrance.
Yeah,
is
the entrance
from.
is right there. It's right there. It's right there. So as soon as you finish tawaf, you just go. You go in. All right. So Safa to Marwa is 1 round. Run round in tawaf, it's around the Kaaba. But Safa to Marwa is 1. Then Marwa back to Safa is 2. Then Safa to Marwa again is 3. So you're going to do this 7 times. So if you start at Safa, you're going to end at Marwa. All right. Now again, when walking from Safa to Marwa, you can recite anything you like. So any dua, any dhikr, any verse of the Quran, anything. Now oftentimes, again, as I said, we're not used to worshipping and doing dhikr for so long. We start having conversations. We start talking. Try to limit that. Again, you can have as many conversations as you like later on. But when doing Safa and Sa'i, you should make sure, 15-hour flight, just make sure you're doing dhikr and dua or reciting Quran something. Alright, that's the reason why we're going. So as you're walking towards Marwa, again, any dua, any dhikr that you like. Now, as you're walking towards Marwa, you're going to come across a portion that's lighted by green lights. That's lighted by green lights. So at that portion, the men are supposed to jog. Right? You're supposed to run from the green light to the next green light. The sisters are supposed to continue walking. So you're going to either run or jog that spot and then continue walking to reach Marwa. When you get to Marwa, again, you're going to face the Kaaba, do Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and make dua. And then you go back to Safa. So we're going to do this 7 times. So again, it gets tiring. Pace yourself, don't walk too fast. You know, oftentimes we think of how weak we are compared to whom? Right? Whose honor are we doing this in? Who are we copying? Not just Ibrahim, who? Hajar, his wife. Right? A woman who was alone in the Arabian desert. Right? MashaAllah, you know Safa Marwa? It's marble, it's AC, it's comfortable, it's indoors. Right? She was out in the open desert, sand and rocks, like a real mountain, walking in between 7 times, concerned for her child, looking for water. Right? And oftentimes we walk and we think it's hard. It's nothing, right? It's okay. There's just a little bit of inconvenience, but it's okay. Alright, now after finishing Safa Marwa, the last thing that we do, after finishing Sa'i, the last thing is shaving or trimming the hair. So for the men, there's a barber shop in the same building as our hotel. So we're going to leave Sa'i Mas'a, go back to the hotel, and you guys can go to the barber. It's 10 riyals, 15 riyals. You can either shave your hair or you can trim it. Shaving, there's more reward, but there's nothing wrong with trimming. Right? And the amount that needs to be trimmed is the amount of a fingertip from all over your head. So the amount of a fingertip from all over your head. So if you don't want to shave your head, at least make sure this much gets cut from everywhere. If you don't like using the blade, you can use the machine. But the more reward is for using the blade, getting it shaved. Alright, for sisters, you're going to notice that there's people standing at Marwa with scissors. And they're cutting people's hairs there. Don't do that. Right? Do not do that. Don't give them business. you're going to go back to your hotel room, and what you're going to do is you're going to gather your hair in the back, and you're going to have someone cut this much off from the back. So whoever your roommate is, your husband, your brother, your sister, whoever it is, whoever, you can have them cut this much off from your back. So you're going to gather all your hair in the back and have someone cut the amount of a fingertip off. And then once you cut your hair, once you shave your hair, you have exited the state of ihram and your umrah is complete. And then we say, may Allah accept your umrah. Alright, so it's a very simple process. It's not that complicated. The entire umrah process can take from 2 to 3 hours. So if you start at midnight, hypothetically, you'll be done by 3. Right, for sure. So it's not very long process. But again, you're going to be tired because you just traveled this long journey. Then you walked so much. It's a new place. You'll be tired. So just be expected to be tired. Now, after you're done with the Umrah, you're going to be in Mecca for, I believe, 3 days? Right? 3 days. So in those 3 days, the sunnah is to do as many tawafs as possible. Because that's the only place you can do what? Tawaf. So the only place you can do tawaf, you should do as many as possible. So the recommendation is try to do one after every prayer. If you can't do one after Fajr, one after Isha, just gauge yourself and try to do as many tawafs as possible.
Yeah, for other masajid, when we enter the masjid, we do Tahatul Masjid. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Tahatul, for haram is the tawaf.
Tawaf,
Right?
yeah.
So,
It is tawaf.
if it's, if we can, we enter there and the first thing we do is
Tawaf, exactly.
before the prayer.
Exactly. Alright, and then obviously try to pray all 5 prayers inside the haram. Alright, inside the haram.
For currency exchange,
Mhm.
I mean, you mentioned we're going to need some few money to pay it here and there. What is the best
At the hotel.
at the hotel?
So the hotel building, the ground floor, there's a mall.
Uh-huh.
There's a currency exchange right there.
All right.
So you just go to them and get it exchanged. And they give the best rate as well.
All right. Is it better than putting some money from an ATM? Because I
Yeah.
know we can use our cards.
You can use your card, but they'll charge you whatever the fee is.
Yeah.
But it's better just get money exchanged.
Oh.
It's easy.
Mostly, yeah.
It's not that difficult to get it exchanged.
Small shops won't take credit cards, like the
And-
street
Yeah,
vendors.
that's
And again, the hotel is nice because it's very convenient. Everything's there. All the stores, everything is there. There's a nice food court upstairs. Everything is there. All right. Now, when in Mecca, again, try to pray all 5 prayers in the masjid. Do as many tawafs as possible. For the remainder tawafs, you can wear your normal clothes. Everything's normal. You're not in the state of ihram. You just do it tawaf 7 rounds, and then every time you do a tawaf, you have to pray 2 rak'ahs. Right, every time you do a tawaf, after you got to pray 2 rak'ahs.
After 7 rounds.
After the 7. Alright, now if you want to do a second umrah, right, for those of you who want to do multiple umrahs, first and foremost, the scholars don't recommend that. Right, they say you do one umrah and then you do as many tawafs as possible. But if you want to do umrah, say on behalf of someone else, right, on behalf of a deceased relative or a parent or whatever it may be, then you're going to have to go back to the miqat. So the miqat there is a place known as Masjid Aisha. Masjid Aisha. So what you'll do is you'll wash up, you'll bathe, you'll put on your cloth at the hotel room, and take a taxi right downstairs, and they'll take you to Masjid Aisha. When you get there, you'll pray 2 rak'ahs, intention talbiyah, and then you come back and you do your umrah. So it's not difficult. It's very easy. You can just, right, literally where the hotel is, there's a taxi stand outside. You grab a taxi, it should be like 20, 30 riyals. They'll take you to Masjid Aisha and they'll bring you back. Alright, any questions for the umrah itself? Alright, good. So you're going to be in Mecca from the 20th till the 23rd. So on the morning of the 23rd, sometime after Fajr, they'll let you know that there's going to be a bus coming to take us to Medina. So
what are we going to be doing? Is there any places that we're going for the other 2 days that we are in Mecca?
In Mecca? I don't think there's ziyarah in Mecca. Right? I mean, there's not many historical sites to see in Mecca anymore. Right? All the stuff is just in the haram. So most of the time you should spend inside the haram. Alright. So on the 23rd, sometime in the morning, the bus is going to come. We're going to load up, pack up, and we're going to head towards Medina. Now the bus ride to Medina is a little bit long. It can take anywhere from 4 to 7 hours. Right? 4 to 7 hours bus ride. The bus has a bathroom on it. It's a comfortable bus. They're going to have a stop, 1 or 2 stops for prayer and like rest area and using the restroom. The rest areas aren't the nicest of rest areas. It's not like a rest area here, it's a rest area in Saudi. Right? So it's like, I don't know if I want to describe it, but it's okay.
Unrest.
Yeah.
They'll be in it for a surprise.
Yeah. So you're gonna get to Medina sometime late afternoon, right? Maybe even at Maghrib time on the 23rd. So you're gonna check into your hotel. The hotel in Medina is the Intercontinental Darul Iman. It's right on the courtyard of the masjid. Basically, you exit the hotel and you're in the courtyard, like literally. It's very close to the women's entrance as well. So it's a good location. So once you get to Medina, you're gonna check into your hotel. And in Medina, there's no ritual to do, right? There's no like ritual act of worship that needs to be done. You're there simply to do what? Pray in the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ and visit his grave, right? Doing ziyarah of the Prophet ﷺ, visiting Jannatul Baqi, right? There's over 10,000 companions of the Prophet ﷺ buried in Jannatul Baqi, the graveyard right outside the masjid. All of his wives, except for Khadija radiallahu anha, are buried there as well. So it's a very virtuous, a very blessed graveyard. So it is a very great honor, it's a great privilege to be given the blessing of visiting the noble city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, and it's the favored city, and it's the best place on earth after Mecca. Right, it's the city that Allah chose as the destination of the Prophet's migration, as well as the final resting place of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this world. And this is the city that showed love to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when his own hometown turned him away. It's the city where Iman will retreat. It's the first Muslim capital. It's the center of faith from which the companions set out to invite people from darkness to light. It is the city of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Al-Madinatul Munawwara. It's a very beautiful city. If you've ever been there before, it has a different feel to it. Like you feel the sense of peace, the sense of tranquility. You feel at calm. You feel just at peace with yourself. And it's called Al-Madinah. It is called the city. Right? Before the Prophet migrated, what was it known as? Yathrib. But when he got there, it became known as Al-Madinah, the city. And it became Al-Munawwara, the illuminated city. It was illuminated by the presence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So visiting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a sunnah. So we're going to be going there after the Umrah, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged us to visit his grave, saying that whoever has the ability yet does not visit me has indeed turned away from me. And whoever visits my grave, my intercession is incumbent for him. And whoever visits me after my death, it is as if he has visited me during my life. So it's very virtuous, it's a very blessed thing to do. So when arriving in the city of Medina, we're going to be sending peace and blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we should do that as often as possible. Alright, there's a unique place inside the masjid known as the Rawdah. Right? The Rawdah is the space between his member and his house, his pulpit and his house. And that's known as a garden from the gardens of paradise. Like that's a portion of paradise on the face of this earth. So everybody that goes to Medina tries to do what? Pray there. So it's difficult, it is hard, it takes time. They have a process, they have a system, just follow it and you'll get in there. And if you stick with the process, you'll get a chance to pray in there. But it might take a few hours. But you'll get it. And again, you don't have anything to do. Right? You don't have anything to do but what? Pray. So might as well wait there for a couple hours to go pray in the Rawdah. Alright, so after when you first arrive in Medina, you should clean up, settle in, wash up, go for salah, and then you're going to head towards his grave. Right? The grave of the Prophet ﷺ. It's near the front part of the masjid. You know the green dome that you see? His grave, they say, is beneath the green dome. So you're going to walk towards the front of the masjid. It's called Babus Salam, the door of Salam. And you just walk towards the grave, and you're going to come across 3 metal meshes. It's like 3 golden mesh, I guess you could say walls, or mesh gates. And there's 3 sets of them. And the middle set is where the grave of the Prophet ﷺ is. So the first grave is the grave of the Prophet ﷺ. So you're going to walk by and say, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. That may peace and blessings be upon you, O Messenger of Allah. The second is that of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Right, the grave right next to him is that of Abu Bakr. So you're also going to give salam to him. You're going to say Assalamu alayka ya Aba Bakr. And then the third is that of Umar radiallahu anhu. You're going to say Assalamu alayka ya Umar. And that's all you have to do. You should not stand there and pray towards the grave, but you can afterwards pray towards where? The Qibla. Right? We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to the Prophet ﷺ, even though we have the utmost love and honor and respect for the Prophet ﷺ. Alright, and then the city of Medina, there is ziyarah there. Right? There will be a day where the group leaders will take you to where the battle of Uhud took place. And the shuhada of Uhud, all the martyrs of Uhud, they'll take you to where the Khandaq was. You go to Masjid Qiblatayn, you go to Masjid Quba, you go to all these historic sites in the city of Medina. And recently they opened these exhibitions right next to the masjid. So there's 3 exhibitions. One is about the 99 names of Allah. It's a nice museum that discusses the 99 names of Allah. The next one is it's a museum on the seerah. And I encourage everyone to go visit this. This is awesome. Right? It goes through the entire seerah. It's an exhibition that walks you through the entire seerah. There's a lot of pictures and graphs and maps. There's like models of what the masjid looked like during the life of the Prophet ﷺ. It's a very nice, informative place to go.
Now this is, the whole group will be going.
Yeah, the whole group will be going. And then the third exhibition is an exhibition on the Quran, about the history and preservation of the Quran. And they have like old manuscripts and old copies of the Quran, which is also very beneficial. And all 3 of these exhibitions are right next door to the masjid. So the masjid is huge. It has this courtyard, and right next to it there's 3 buildings that have these exhibitions. So if you have time, you should go and visit them. Now for the sisters, the timings for ziyarah are a little bit restricted. I don't remember exactly. I believe there's one after Fajr, after Dhuhr, and after Isha. Right? After Fajr, after Dhuhr, and after Isha. And from what I've heard, the women, like guards, are a lot like rough. Right? They're kind of rough. And they like navigate people a lot, and they yell a lot, and there's a kind of chaos in there. And sometimes if you go in for ziyarah, it's like a 2-3 hour process that you'll get to go all the way to there, but it can take a while. So if you're going with your spouse, like, let them know that you're going to come back like 3 hours later. Alright, any questions?
Can I add a couple things? So as far as the bags are concerned, we're not going to get bags or SIM cards.
Okay.
We do have ziyarah for both Makkah and Medina. Makkah, we have it on the 22nd at 9 a.m. and then Medina on the 24th at 9 a.m. So we'll have ziyarah for both Makkah and Medina, inshallah.
Alright, the Makkah ziyarah, it takes you to like...
Yeah, so inshallah we'll have ziyarah for both Makkah and Medina. The ziyarah in Makkah will be on the 22nd at 9 a.m. and the ziyarah for Medina will be on the 24th at 9 a.m. as well. And we won't have, and the travel agency won't be giving bags or SIM cards, so that's something.
And no drawstring shoe.
That's the bag, yeah.
So the drawstring shoe bag, you go to any sports store, right? Any sports store will have.
What I'm saying is it was included in the
I think the IOK drawstring bag.
We might be able to get the IOK.
And then if everybody takes that, that'll also be a way for us to identify
Recognize
each other. It has a logo is pretty large on it.
Yeah, because if you guys don't provide it, I have Al Manasik song.
and don't worry about getting lost there. You won't get lost. And the reason why you won't get lost is because your hotels are right there. There's no way to miss where your hotel is. So anytime you feel like you're lost and you don't know where to go back to your hotel.
Yeah, and I got a recommendation because this happened to us first time when we walked in for Umrah. When the prayer time comes, the sister gets separated from the brothers. And so what needs to be done, what we learned the first night, that we did our Umrah separately because we didn't find each other. On the courtyard of the Haram, there's a big place where a lot of faucets for Zamzam water, right?
Yeah.
That's the best place to say, okay, meet me here.
Afterwards. Yeah. Just be aware of your surroundings, figure out directions.
You can manage that too. Yeah. Or the light where you start
Tawaf, the green light.
The best place, in my opinion, maybe.
But it's too
it's
crowded.
packed.
So
it's too crowded.
Tell her, the sister, that you come here we will meet in this place. So
I said I'll find you.
Yeah. But hopefully, inshallah, everyone enjoys their trip, beneficial trip, inshallah. If question? Alright, okay. Inshallah, hopefully Allah makes your trip easy, accepts from all of you.
Yeah, please
Make
pray
lots of
for
dua
all
for
of
me
us.
when I'm there, or when you're there, inshallah.
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 And then also, sometimes it gets busy for the prayers. I don't know how you think it'll be that busy.
It will be busy.
Like sometimes if you go from Maghrib, like switching Maghrib, you're just better off
Staying there.
staying there, right? From Maghrib to Isha, because if you leave after Maghrib, you probably won't be able to get back for Isha.
No.
For Makkah at least, Medina.
In Mecca, they started becoming really good on crowd control. So what they do is about half an hour before prayer time, they close off the gates because the inside gets full. So if you don't get at least half an hour before prayer time, you're not going to be able to get inside the masjid. So for any prayer that you want to go for Mecca, make sure you go half an hour before. All right. For Medina, it's always open. You're always going to find space inside. So in Medina, what you'll notice, like a trip, is that you'll notice that people start lining up in the back, but they don't move forward. If you keep walking, you're going to find like huge open spaces near the front of the masjid. So once you get to the masjid, the Prophet's mosque, just keep walking in. If you keep walking in, you'll find more than enough space.
Yeah, those are mostly the locals that are
They just
pictures and stuff because
praying,
they want to just pray and get out,
out.
go all the way inside because they're there all the
If you
time.
go forward, even to the right or left, there's lots.
It's huge, a lot of space.
I have two questions.
Mhm.
This PowerPoint presentation will be on IOK website.
Yeah, I think they're going to email it to all of you.
Oh, okay.
I think we have everyone's email,
Okay.
and you'll get the presentation in the email. inshallah.
Also, from Medina, they're going to take us directly to the airport.
Yeah, that's right. So for the departure, you're going to go straight from Medina back to. Are you going back to Jeddah?
Jeddah.
Okay. Yeah.
And how long is that?
Between 4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6 hours as well.
So from Makkah to Medina is about same.
Yeah, it's the same. There's like
About the same
like
distance.
a triangle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the one in the scripts that you're going to be reciting over there,
And
can you utilize that as well and email that?
Yeah. So it's on the PowerPoint.
Oh,
It's on the PowerPoint.
and what about the weather nowadays in Makkah and Medina?
Yeah. I think.
70s.
Yeah. It's not too hot.
Not too hot,
Not too hot.
not too cold.
You know, a good idea is to take an umbrella.
Umbrella.
If you want to do tawaf in the afternoon, it's less people for sure. So it's
Yeah.
quick, but it's very sunny.
Very.
So having an umbrella would help. Sunglasses during the day helps out a lot because it's like white tile,
Yeah, right.
and it's like
Reflect.
it reflects a lot on your eyes.
Forecast.
Having sunglasses helps.
it's
Forecast
90
predicts
degrees.
93 high and 72 low. So
Yeah.
just be ready.
And in Mecca, it's 78 degrees today, right?
It's nighttime.
I just thought about the belt.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Uh,
I'm not sure if the first timer.
For ihram, for ihram, you can wear a belt on top to make sure it stays in place.
And especially the one that has pockets and stuff, so keep little money,
Wallet
maybe
and cell phone.
and stuff.
Is it necessary?
It's not necessary, but it helps.
Safety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it helps. It definitely helps. All right. Any other questions?
I have one question.
Mhm.
Hotels, do they have power outlets that are convertible for the U.S.?
You should take a converter with you.
They're just it's like
One plug.
yeah. It's like
I don't worry about a voltage converter or anything.
No, not voltage.
Not
Most
voltage.
of your charger, it will be 220 volts, but most of your chargers, like phone chargers, are compatible with both. They're auto switching, so you just got to get the
Connector.
converter.
So the tip converter you can buy it here, or you know that Bin Dawood store I was saying. They got all types of converters you could think of.
Or Type F?
Is that 110?
It's a two round pins, like the same as like in other Asian countries.
Isn't it 2 and then with little square on top?
Yes.
Sometimes.
It depends.
Yeah.
High voltage
But
ones are-
actually,
Amperage.
sorry, but my experience is I didn't have to use it. It's the wall. They have it. You can.
I guess
so they
just
have
depending
that
on the
triangle,
hotel.
or they have
Yeah,
the US
it
one.
depends on the hotel.
And these hotels, Darul Iman, I stayed there in the continent.
They have it.
Do we have microwaves in there?
No work. No microwaves. Any other questions?
Thank you very much. You explained.
All right, we'll accept from all of you, inshallah, make your trip easy, prepare, and bring you back safely as well, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Type F.
Type F?
Yeah, not Type G.